Well, there you are. We meet again. Charlie Greer podcast again. Yeah, I do this every day. Duh. Today, your creativity exposes their lack of talent. Huh? Say what? Who? Whose lack of talent? Whose creativity? Yeah, so what whatever creative you're seeing all through your life, rock star, actress, whatever, there was some person that was amazing that they held down. That's a human behaviors. It's like, oh no, no, no. You'd think people want to say, oh no, I want the best, not better than me. So you're seeing like this watered down, half-assed, lollygagging. Again, it'll pass as good, average, you know. And I'm not really talking about myself. Like I'm not talking about what. I mean, I am including myself because every kind of creative thing I've ever done, you run into these people like, yeah, they play guitar, or yeah, they sing, or yeah, they paint, or yeah, they act, or yeah, they produce whatever. Their real talent is their manipulative social skills, where they can just, how many people I've met when I was living in LA that like have great writing jobs for like TV shows and stuff, never writ a script. Like, oh, see, I'm waiting. See, I went to school and I got this badge or whatever. It's like, what? Huh? Bands, unknown bands that have like families that are giving them like 10,000 a month to finance their band. They asking me how I'm doing what I'm doing when I don't got a pot to piss in. That kind of thing. Well, hell, I'll tell you what. Why don't you give me a little bit of that? Why don't you start a label or a magazine or something? No, no. And they always end up like out of music, and a lot of them like I make baby clothes now or something. You know, stealing your intellectual property. That's a thing. That's why I don't jam with people anymore. I deliberately act. I play like that. I've been doing that for decades. Where Charlie can't play guitar. Yeah, right. Because I don't want to. I don't want you stealing my intellectual property. Matter of fact, people catch on. They're like, dude, what are you doing? Well, I mean, I don't want them focusing on my intellectual property or what I do. I used to be all open. Ah, you want to learn it? Not anymore. Oh no, 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 no. I clam up, play dumb. I can't play. Yeah, that kind of thing. I'm better than I've ever been. You won't ever know. That's another reason why my last album came out in 2008. I played behind that for like 2 years. And it was just like, oh man, what else do I got to do? You know, surrounded by these, just take. Help me, help me. Come on, man. What else I mean, shit. I'm under the mindset of like, man, I want to be around great artists. I want to be around exposed to stuff that makes me want to do more. I am in the minority, man. They did. That's not how. It's just see how we all did. They'll group up and be worried, like, oh god. Like there's a story, and you can find this on YouTube somewhere where when Jimi Hendrix hit England in London, what? Like they met in secret at a theater. I think it was Pete Townsend was talking about, like Pete Townsend, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, all that. Like what? Huh? Where? Of course, they got to act like they're his friend or whatever. I'm sure some of them were, but they were scared of his genius. You would think that and I'm sure they kind of switched by, but that's a thing. It's cool that they admitted that. Everybody is guilty of certain things. I've said this over and over. I would be doing it too if I hadn't work on my mind and not want to. And in the long run, it's a I self me, no, me, like a baby attitude. These people haven't like matured emotionally. If they had any, and they're not that bright, because if they had any sense in their head, they know when everybody does better, it makes them look good and they can do good. You know what I mean? Like that's how the world. No, no. Shut it all down. When I was coming up in my band, some of these clubs I was playing, The indie rock was starting, grunge, whatever. And there were local like cover bands that were huge. I mean, they had some, originals and stuff, but they were cover bands. And my band sometimes opened for these people, and they made bank. They did well selling out. And then the club owner, well, no, see, that's not hip now. Like, well, you're going to cut off the money? These shoegazers can't bring any, they don't sell booze. Well, that's hip now. No, what, do you have any kind of a, have you talked to a think tank about this? Yeah, and these bands couldn't play. They were making money, doing better than any other, even the original band. They weren't, it's about commerce, man, selling beers. I told them, like, man, this club ain't going to be around. These you ain't going to be, oh, yeah, right. No, you're going to. Sure as shit, like a year or two later, help us. People get in someone's ear, and unfortunately, in the art world, of course, you don't want like a business standards committee to go through. No, but it seems like people think it's okay, like artists are lazy or something, or it's just they're getting stole from it. They are getting stole from, but they don't tell you about like a major label offer is. They'd be like, yeah, I'm with so and so records, huge record. Not only are we going to steal all the record money, we want, you're only going to get a penny or a nickel every time you sell a record, but we're not going to sign you unless you give us 50% of your publishing, 50% of your merchandising. Now I hear it's called a 360 deal. It's take it all. And you got to go make your money somewhere else. That's why Beyonce is like L'Oreal or whatever. You got to go commercials or do something, start a makeup line or clothing, they'll make you famous. You're not getting any of that. The Beatles, when they broke up, none of them were millionaires. I think it was George Harrison became the first millionaire because he released his first solo album. Where'd all that money go? Do you know how much money they generated? The day after, and this is a fact you can look up, the day after they were on Ed Sullivan in like 64, I think it was like January of 64, because they were already big in 63 in England, but I think it was like January 64 when they were on Ed Sullivan, or February 64. The next day, every guitar sold out in America. Like even like a little small town that had like an acoustic, every guitar, you couldn't find a guitar. It was exploding. And how many albums they sold? And they're working them like, a rented mule. I mean, they're just written. They just go. They're staying at the nicest hotels. I'm sure they have a chateau they can all the time. It's owned by some kind of BBC. I don't know, but that is always going to be the problem. And not getting off shit, but your creativity exposes their lack of talent. So what do? They just steal everything. You can't do certain, when you get to a certain level of anything, you got to deal with like some people that don't get it. And they're not even that good at business. Yeah, they kill businesses. They just steal. Take. You don't believe me? Try going around, write a good tune, show it to some people. A couple months later, you'll be watching that band like, they'll steal something from it. I mean, I've had old band members help me write my album. Okay. I'm not even like, I'm not going to say who. They know who, but I wrote half an album, a couple albums. My name's nowhere to be found. I'm not even thanked on the album. Or people covering my songs, releasing it, and change the title, whatever. And I'm not even mentioned. What? Back in the day, this is a while back, a long time ago. Silver Lake Lounge in LA. I was living in and I go to hipster, go in there and have a beer. There's bands. Oh, Charlie, I know people, whatever. And some band I'd never seen. They covered one of my songs. In fact, it was kind of mind blowing. I was impressed, like, oh wow, But then they're like, hey, after they're done, somebody went up there and like, hey, Charlie's in the crowd here. They didn't buy me a beer. They didn't, they didn't come and say hello to me afterward. They seemed embarrassed. I mean, I used to write a lot of tunes. Since I've had my head injury and I'm getting older, I don't remember most of my shit. I mean, I do, but I mean, I've got how many out? I don't know. They're all out of print. Haven't played live in like 10 years. Written multiple albums that I'm not going to release because I just, what's the, come on. Dealing with the same old shit. If I'm getting paid, that's why I started teaching vocal lessons. Like, man, I'm going to make $1 some way. I'm going to do this. I'll teach certain people. And I did. I was good at showing them like basics, certain things. And they turn on you, man. They get like, I've gotten girls like that were on The Voice or whatever, like a couple shows, and they get kicked off after a show or two or whatever it was. There's 2 of them that made those shows, and I never heard from them again. I've gotten, people to the point where they're like touring and doing well. When they started with me, they didn't have a band, never been in a band. Next thing you know, they're doing great and touring and all this stuff. Can't even get them on the phone, ask for a referral or a reference, won't give you one. Huh? Just roll with it. Hey, I mean, am I the only one that happens? Come on. And again, I'm not that talented. I'm not that. I just did what I did. I'm a lowbrow artist. That's what I do. And under that umbrella, I'm like a painter, musician, not any acting anymore, but writer. I've got a book out, Rant of the Madman by Charlie Greer. You can Google that, go to Amazon, whatever. I ain't got paid for that in like almost 20 years. It's not just me. There's other, I've tracked people down and like had all lawyers working on contingency, and they're just like, look, man, we'll pay you, sue us. How long it's gonna take you? I had this one lawyer in like 2006, 2007, like, yeah, well, I need 10 grand. And when I used to check, because I've been on your publishing, you write songs. There's big publishing. There's 2. There's ASCAP and BMI, and I've been on both. And when I was on BMI, you can go in there and sign in, and they track your the data statistic, whatever, and seeing people who have used your music, and it's just like, what? Like the Discovery Channel, and I ain't got paid for that. So I go talk to a lawyer, and they're like, oh yeah, just sue us. We'll settle out. Can't be that much money. I mean, I didn't even know. I don't know what they did. I mean, I've gotten like VH1, Viacom, Discovery, BBC Two. It's like, what were they using? I mean, I don't know. I never saw any of that stuff. Whatever they used, I guess that, it was reported back, but I never got paid. Didn't even get any exposure out of it. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, they're not paying me, but if I get some exposure. I got contacted by this was like 6-7 years ago, not too long ago. I was living in Pasadena. And I got an email from some kind of motocross, dude that jump and, whatever. And they needed music. And they were doing a show, and they were going to release like something. And they're like, look, I know this sounds stupid, but we're not going to pay you, but you're going to get all kinds of exposure. And at first I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm leaning towards, I might do that. Let me think about it. At least give me 24 hours to, and man, it's just like, no, I got to have something. And it was nothing. I think I said like $1,000 for like a perpetuity license. You can just do it, but I need to get something out of it, man. The bees that kill are freebies. Be stung up a bunch about freebie. You'll be swollen up and dead. I mean, come on. Bees that kill are freebies. Don't, in the beginning, maybe you have to, I've done plenty of free gigs when I was, but so I called, I said, look, man, I can't, you got to give me like $1,000. No, $750. I can't do it. Well, you're making a mistake. Who cares? You came to me. I didn't even know you guys existed. Maybe they used it to tell me. I don't know. Maybe that's one of the things I saw. Again, they need artists. They need creativity, and we need jobbers and pencil pushers and shit like that. I'm not pointing the finger. Everybody works, but artists are a certain breed, especially people that can produce content or create, like makes get stuff done. Again, it gets to the point. It's happened every like I can't do it anymore, man. I'm emotionally crippled from this. Like with my book, my paintings, my this, that, and the other. I mean, I'm making all these people money. At least do a co-op 50-50. Like I've done that with artists, I mean, gallery owners in LA. It's like, okay, man, you okay, you pay for the postcards and all the cheap wine that night, that week or that month they're showing my, and I'll give you 50%. Cause and then you got to wait for their money. And, sometimes it's cool. I mean, I've been where landlords are like, oh, your paintings are selling for how much? Oh yeah, I'm starting to make a little bit of money. Oh, I'll tell you what, give me 2 of them and I'll give you a month of rent, or 2 months, 6 months, whatever it was. Okay, I'll do it. I mean, I've bartered like my paintings for my rent in LA. Hey, again, at least I have these tales to tell. I was paid in yarns. Yeah, you got a yarn to tell. Basically, basically. And again, and then it's just not me. I have seen dudes that were talented, man, cool. Everybody's stealing their style, and they're a lot of people are kind of shy, quiet, reserved, cool. They're not like they're like a morning DJ or something. That's what most people think an artist should be, is some kind of clown, like a morning DJ. Here I am. Okay, I do it. No, creative people, we need a lot of leave alone, and there are those moody artists, and see them damn near give up because, a lot of people. I mean, some of the best shows I've ever seen as far as bands were like clubs in LA. It's a club show, paid like $5 to get in. Just get some like coyote shivers, just just wipe the floor with a 3-piece. Awesome. One of the best live shows. Texas Terry, just blam. I mean, they're doing okay, but you'd think they'd be all over. That ain't the case. Or how many times I've helped people out, or they've been in my band or doing some kind of business with me as far as the arts, and then I'm paying for everything, like the lawyers, the this, the that, everything. And then as soon as they get an opportunity, the next thing you know, your name's being smeared, lies are told about you, they don't help out. This. You want to, okay, how you tell somebody that's not that talented? Who are they smearing? That's who they stole their shit from. Artists aren't going to come up like, oh yeah, they ain't going to say anything. Even if it is true, they're not going to repeat certain shit. But the people behind the scenes at the record labels, magazines, whatever the hell, producers, they live in that world where it's dog eat dog. And you don't want to be, you'll threaten people. Oh, we can't have him around. We will expose. We're a bunch of con men or women or whoever. I mean, and again, if your family's got money, if they're the industry, whatever, you're going to do better. Some of us can like kind of get, again, I've met people who are like, how? You're from where? What are you doing? Just writing doing me. I'm not changing any kind of, I'm not being something I'm not. I'm happy with who I am. I live in the moment, man. I'm not, tomorrow might not ever come. The past, it makes you depressed. No, boom. Right then and there, like that's, I just can't. And there's been situations where it's like, okay, man, don't say a fucking word. Even your lawyer, don't say a word. Go in there. Let me do the talking. or your producer, whoever it is at the moment. You're just sitting there, put on these shades, and they, with that, your presence, they know. Again, that's what they do. They know, oh man, we can't control this guy. Again, it's about control. Like I'm not going to give up, all my publishing and for one merch. I ain't gonna merch, come on. But my songs, I mean, hell. And I've told this story before, but I had a friend, and they, at the time, were doing pretty good, producing 2 shows. So they're writing. They had to hire new writers, like staff writers, and they had 3 options: the genius, the average, and then the person that wasn't but their family was and then there's a lot of favors. If you do a favor for him, then there's a lot of favors to be done, even though this guy is kind of a dipshit, lard ass, dumbass, whatever. And they're asking me for advice. I go with the genius, man. Don't worry. Favoritism, nepotism, crony, man. Just because this dude, this genius guy, he's going to be like the king of the world someday. It ain't going to be that, when he's younger, he like creative stuff, and then he'll get a little bit older and want real money, and he'll become like a military contractor or something. So what do? They go with the dude, the dumbass that can do the favors, or his family or whatever. Within no time, he's sabotaging everything. I'm going to say we did. Watch the chicken story that I did on my podcast. And then now they got to cover for him because they don't want to be exposed. I was on the ground laughing, rolling. And they were crying. Well, I done told you what you should have, And then they couldn't be around me because I remind them of the dumbass mistake that it's just stupid. I'm not kidding. Next thing you know, we're hanging out every day, and then, oh, Charlie, he's it. What? Well, can I get my guitars back? Everything you borrowed from me, and it's clothing and shit. So you might want a healthy balance of read that book, How to Influence People and Make Friends. But I can't, man. I just, and there's such a way. Sometimes, you might be in a situation, you're doing some creative stuff, and there's a lot of crew and stuff around, or there's, a studio where I try to just stay away and not say anything and be quiet. Not rude, but just aloof, whatever. Well, he don't say much. Because usually I'll talk your ear out, but man, it's like, I know. Or rent a studio for the day for like $300 to $500. Comes with like a producer, engineer guy, a couple guys you've never met. You know how good they are. They're not interrupt. But nice studio, and then get it for like 8 hours. And then I have to tell. Yeah, I'm gonna play. We're gonna do the drums and the bass live. Oh, well, I need to hook up another chord. I'm not gonna get it done. Yeah. And then come lunchtime, they come in with these menus from like French restaurants around LA. Like they want me to buy them some kind of expensive. Are you kidding me? We're going to Subway. I don't eat Subway. Well, you can eat then. What the fuck, man? I don't know you. Just met you. And you're ornery, hard to work with. Not that talented. Matter of fact, I just get me, sit on the couch. I'll figure this out. Dumb. It grinds on you because, man, there's a lot more of them than there are us. I'll tell you. Or even worse, which happens a lot, are people you've never met, don't know you, never seen them in person, yet you're always hearing about they're talking about shit about you. Like, what? Huh? That's been happening to me since I was like a teenager. And this is a funny thing. Until you're on their radar, until you start doing things and you threaten them, they're threatening to you. Oh, they're talking. I've had these bigger bands that like, why are you dealing with me, man? You guys are on major labels, and find out that they're calling around trying to get my gigs. What? That kind of shit. Like, what do you have? Don't you have something better to do? Go drive your new BMW or go, the secret orgies that are ran by, real estate agents and mansions. Okay, well, you got something to do. Go eat sushi again or something. Or do the shortcut route and be a scab. Join another band and then coattail right off there. Whatever. A lot of people move to LA, and that's what they're doing. They'll be the bass player, and that band's had 46 bass players. They don't get, I could have done that over and over again. I just can't do it. I know it's not, but I'd have to be me, Charlie Greer. That's it. Hey, I'm not going to be second, third fiddle in a fucking, part of me half-ass, and I've been asked to. And in some situations, I regret that I didn't, just for financial. I'd have made money. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're an island all to yourself out in the ocean. Nobody, every once in a while, somebody lands on that island. Hey, I didn't know about this. It's beautiful. I just keep doing what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm not even trying to, because I've got, how many albums do I have? Forget about my other band. I'm talking about like solo shit. Like 4, maybe 5. I've always, I released them independently on my own, or used a co-op label or a company, just, hey, help me. You would think that a label, even a small one, would approach me and be like, hey, we don't have any recording costs. These albums are done. We'll just re-release them, man. That's just we can take. You would think. And some people, I've been approached, but again, here comes even the smallest shit. I was offered, I almost did it too. I was offered, it was $5,000 for a 5-year license. Meaning they just wanted to pay me $5,000, release my album, and I wasn't going to get anything else more for 5 years. So if it like sold a, but they wouldn't. No. I almost, but then I couldn't do anything for 5 years with that. I'd have to promote, could you imagine out there just road dogging it, and you spent that $5,000 long ago, the first month or whatever. Another 5 years to shovel in the money for whoever hadn't even met these people. Just mailing you shit like, some kind of contract. You got to pay a lawyer to read, $150. Because honestly, I was too prideful to be in a cover band, like make it just like playing pure covers. I mean, when I was at my first band, that's what we did because I was learning. But man, lately I've been thinking like, dude, that's what I should do. Just do covers and get paid. Even my solo, just me up there with the guitar doing cover. Yeah, Hey Jude, I don't know. Matter of fact, that's what I'm contemplating and thinking about right now. It's just like I'll do a one-man show and play these bars around here. And I just might. You never know. Again, it's a strange, mysterious world. But don't give up on your creativity. There are people that see through that. It is coming back around too. Like people know about like, I've actually met labels that said this. They're like, oh yeah, that first wave you get, it's these, con men, people with, rich kid, whatever. You got to wait till it's usually when something popped off, like there's a new scene or a new whatever. And then here they come, ripping people up, whatever. You don't want to sign those people, man. Because they don't, you want to wait the second wave of people that, actually have, they're not smart. And that's what they did. And that's where they were successful because they were looking for like originality, creativity. They've been they do. That's what they do. I don't think they've seen this. You think they made their mistake? Oh God, there's the band has like what 70 to 100 hipsters that they're fans that run for fanzines and know this and that. You're You front them all this money and that album doesn't sell shit. Like, you can't give away the stuff. Yeah. And then everybody gets fired because they that happens more so than not too. Or be a staff writer or whatever. I was teaching lessons. I got to the point where I was doing okay, whatever. I interviewed with Disney, which was Hollywood Records, and Sony. And both situations, it was a con man who just put on a suit and just hired people around him to do, and he took the credit. Sourcing out, basically. Sourcing out. I did a podcast about that called Sourcing Out Talent. Look, watch that. And I think it was Sony. Maybe it was Disney, the Hollywood thing. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna. I was actually waiting at the whatever douchebag cafe outdoor patio we're supposed to meet at. Oh, we're gonna be a little bit late. You know what? I'm out of here. I'm done. I didn't want to do it anyway. What is it? We already drove from Burbank. I don't see. Should have been on time. If you're already doing that to me, then who do I have to? And why am I talking to his assistant anyway? Why can't I? And it's good money in my world, anyways. And then, of course, like, he's difficult to deal with. Yeah, because I'm not being treated right. I'm an artist. Think about it. You should be able to write a good tune. You're a musician, ain't you? You should be able to paint a good paint. You're a painter, aren't you? You should write it. You're a writer. Do that. Focus. Pretending only get you so far, and then certain circles that, man, you're that pretender. Anyway. Oh my goodness. I got to get out of here. Again, I do this every day. So come back and see me tomorrow. Love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.